Welcome to The Preferred List, a podcast about the people behind the best wedding days. I'm James, a wedding filmmaker. I've spent years in the industry working alongside incredible vendors, and this show is all about the real conversations with the ones who make it happen. Whether you're a vendor or a couple, you'll get honest insight, good stories, and maybe a little inspiration along the way. Let's meet today's wedding vendor. Hey Amanda, how's it going?
Hey, how are you?
Good. I'm so glad to have you on. I'm excited to talk all things hair, makeup, because you run Amanda Ryan Hair and Makeup. And it's honestly a topic that I still don't know too much about. So I'm excited to see your style, hear more about your journey as a business owner with this baby new business. It's so fun to kind of like pick your brain on all the things getting started in business. It's so fun. But before we do, we're here at Birchwood Venue. Birchwood Venue is where rustic charm meets modern convenience to create the perfect wedding weekend. Nestled in Milton, Pennsylvania, they give couples 3 full days to decorate, celebrate, and soak in every moment without feeling rushed. From the hydrangea-lined ceremony space to the beautifully restored barn, Birchwood is designed to make your day as stress-free and as memorable as possible. And honestly, the space here, you just said it when you walked in, is like, it's so nice.
Yes, it's gorgeous.
Yeah. And the owner, Holly, I know there's another owner, but I spoke with Holly for the most part, and it's just a great person to work with as a vendor. Amanda, thanks for being on.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I know you love podcasts.
Yes.
We were talking about that a little bit before we jumped in to get started. And it's so funny to me, like some vendors are like, don't listen to any podcast. Some vendors are like, yes, all the podcasts. But it's so fun. This podcast for me, I love the conversation and getting to know the story behind the why and caring for clients and our couples and just putting on like the best day for them. It's so fun. So give me a little bit of the backstory. Like, where did you get started in hair and makeup? Why start Amanda Ryan Hair and Makeup?
So I originally used to work and live in Los Angeles, and I used to do hair and makeup for special events out there. And so I had the experience there. And then I moved back to Pennsylvania. So when I moved back to Pennsylvania,
That's quite the change.
yeah, so I was like, how can this translate to our area and what's going on here? And, girls are getting ready for weddings all the time. And that's what I love is the hair and makeup, getting them like really dolled up, just ready for the day. So we don't really have special events where we are. So weddings, proms, all of that would be the translation.
Yeah. I have to imagine, it is very different. Pennsylvania, LA.
Yes.
We were out in California for a little bit, about like an hour away from LA. And the hustle and bustle, it's just like it's a different place.
Yes, for sure.
But that's so fun. So what were you doing out? Like, were you working for a studio out in LA? Were you doing your own thing there?
So I was actually independent out there. So a lot of networking. I worked with a lot of different people, but essentially your own thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you already had kind of like this business mindset from the jump. What were you doing before you were in LA doing hair and makeup?
So before that, I was working weddings. Same thing. I kind of just kept getting pulled back. So I worked with photographers doing hair and makeup before that
Okay.
in another smaller area.
Kind of like styled shoots
Yes,
mostly?
styled
Okay.
shoots. Yeah, a lot of that. And then that kind of, again, it's all networking. So that took off. So I got hired for that. And then I did a ton of weddings before that, before moving to the city and then restarting over.
You like keep plopping yourself down in new places and then
Yes.
like got to rebuild a business because you can't just move and then this like have the business keep going just as it was
No,
before.
you have to start over every time.
Yeah, so you have kind of had this journey where it keeps pulling you back into weddings.
Hmm.
Is there something about the weddings specifically that are just so fun and enjoyable for you?
I think because it's like such a happy day, and you get to make people feel good, which is what I love. It is a stressful environment, but my part of it is usually where like everyone's excited, everyone's happy,
Yeah.
get the day going. I think I just like that feeling of, and the work I do for weddings. Um, is what I like the most, like special occasion hairstyling
Okay.
and makeup. So I think that's
Yeah.
just where it's at.
Because there is like an element of maybe hairstyling where it's like a more generic, like, hey, it's Wednesday. I want my hair to look a little,
Yeah.
a little nice, but it's like totally different hairstyles and things that you're
Yes.
doing for weddings.
Yep.
Are you having couples coming to you, like brides, they're like, hey, I know exactly what I want. This is exactly the style. Are they kind of basing it off of what they see you kind of putting out on social media?
Um, Now that I've kind of like niched down what I do, but I'd say it's a mixture. I have a lot of people who are like, I've seen your work, I love your work. Let's go. We want to hire you. And then there are some girls that have in their mind, this is what I want. Like, can we make this happen? So
Yeah.
I think it's a mixture of both, but I do think, again, in our like with the type of bride I work with, it has become where they're kind of like the same type of bride.
Yeah. So you have niche down. Could you kind of explain to the listener or even someone who's watching the podcast, like what is your style generally like? What is it not maybe? Like give us like a picture of like what kind of maybe it's like a hairstyle that you're generally doing or it's like is it updos? Like what's that style look like for you?
I would say what I'm doing a lot of is girls who are, I should say brides, brides who are used to, I don't wear makeup, I don't really do my hair. How can we make this a little bit better, but I still want to look like myself? So I feel like my style's kind of evolved into either like loose glam waves, a more modern approach on it, or like a lot of brides are wanting like the updos, but they're not like tight, they're not dated, they're very like I maybe relaxed is the word.
Yeah.
I would say relaxed, a little more texture. And then as far as makeup, again, definitely the bride who's like, I don't really wear makeup at all. I don't want to look crazy or, super glam. So it's more of that soft, I don't know. I call it like blushy bronze look.
Blushy bronze look. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have to imagine a bride who's like full glam and a bride who's like, I never wear makeup ever. This is not a thing that I normally do. Like, it's got to be such a like stark cost contrast between the two.
Yes.
Like what the style is like, and even
Yes.
I mean, are the products kind of different in those kind of different categories?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. The girl who already wears a lot of makeup and knows how she likes her makeup is going to be a totally different bride than the bride who just wants to look nice for her wedding day. And but yeah, as far as products go, it's a obviously a lot more products.
Yeah.
And then just a different style of hair and makeup, honestly.
Yeah, so if is there like advice that you have for brides that are like, I just don't even know what I'm looking for in my hair and my makeup. I don't really have a super strong preference. Do you like have some advice for them on like where they can maybe get inspiration, or is it like based off of the look that they have just naturally? You go like, "Hey, I think this type of hairstyle or this style of makeup would look good on you."
Yeah. So I like to tell brides to, we have the internet, so we have every sort of form of
We do have the
social
internet. That
media.
is accurate.
So that is a game changer. But like to look at artists and to choose an artist that already has the style that you're more drawn to, even if you're not sure, um, choose an artist that already does that. And then my advice for them is I like to personally ask if they're willing to show me their wedding dress. And if they are, you can kind of tell the kind of bride that they are based off of that dress. If they're more classic bride,
Yeah.
in my mind, I have what I picture her looking like. So I can suggest a hairstyle, I can suggest a makeup look. If they're more boho, like you just in my mind, I can
That's
picture
so
them.
interesting off the
Yeah.
dress.
So I
Yeah.
ask if they're willing to show me their dress, and of course it's
Yeah.
secret.
Yeah, I know. But I feel like all the girls are like, "Yes, I wanna show you, I wanna show you."
Yeah, sometimes they're scared, which I get. But
Yeah.
yeah, that would be my personal favorite way to find out what kind of bride they are if they don't know what they want already.
Yeah. So is there anything that's like inspiring you in the looks that you're kind of creating, whether that's on the like the makeup side or the hair side? Is it like fashion that you're seeing? Is it kind of like what you're seeing with celebrities? Is like stuff you're seeing on Pinterest or on Instagram yourself?
Definitely Instagram. I think for me, I'm like obsessed with it. And just going through and seeing what other artists are doing. And then again, making that your own. Like, how does this fit the style that I like to do? Or how will this fit the girls that are in my area? Um, but yeah, definitely Instagram. And then celebrity a little bit. I've always kind of been interested in what they're doing. So I whatever they're doing is usually gonna trickle down and come over to Pennsylvania eventually, so to get ahead, I think you look
Yeah, it
at
might be a year or two.
yeah, but it's gonna be the trend.
Yeah. So, it's so interesting to me because like you guys, as much as you might think or maybe don't think, like there's an artistry in what you're doing.
Mhm.
I'm sure you think that as well, but for those of you that are listening, like there's a definite artistry from my conversations that I've already had with both hair and makeup artists. I'm curious, like, how do the two really play together? How can like a hairstyle enhance, the makeup that you're doing? How can the makeup style or even like what you're doing makeup wise enhance like the hairstylist?
I think again it goes back to, like, what vibe is the bride putting off, or what does she want her vision to be? And just making sure that both the hair and the makeup go with what her vision is. So making sure they match up to each other and that you don't have, like, a super tight classic bun and then like some crazy makeup. Like you would want it to be all classic,
Yeah,
everything.
we're all crazy.
Yeah, or all crazy.
No, yeah, there's definitely a mixture there. Are you doing a lot of hair and makeup for brides and their girls? Are you mostly doing like makeup, mostly hair?
A mixture of both, honestly. Yeah, I lean towards doing makeup if that's an option. If they hire for both, I'll usually be the makeup artist, but I do offer both services.
Yeah. Can you break down like what a typical morning looks like for you?
Like on a wedding day?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm
Just
like,
a
wait.
you're like, I wake up, get my coffee. Yeah.
Well, on a typical wedding day, I would say the night before check my alarm 700 times
Yes,
and I
accurate.
still ask my friends to make sure I'm up. And then wake up pretty early. Usually you're up around like between 5 and 7 to get to a venue. Um, just get myself ready. I love a Red Bull, so I have a Red Bull or Starbucks waiting
Yeah,
and yeah, honestly, I don't really do anything else. Just get in my car, recheck my kit, make sure that like everything is the way, you know, double checking that you have everything.
yeah,
Um, and yeah, and then relook at the timeline, kind of get familiar with names of the girls that you're going to be with. So,
yeah. I feel like there's this mentality that like you're kind of crafting a little bit of like what the morning's gonna be like,
hmm
because you're not that you're like in charge and like not like a planner, like a day of coordinator, but like you are kind of the one that the girls are gonna look to be like, hey, what are we doing? When?
yeah.
How's this all work? Do you have recommendations for brides that are and their girls that are trying to plan for a smooth morning? Like, what can they do to help that morning just be smooth, no hiccups, everyone's on track, the schedule is, you know, we are on schedule for everything.
Well, I like to start with making sure the bride knows everyone should be there like on time. If you can get everybody there at the same time, that's great. So then there's nobody coming late or not on time basically. So definitely that. And then I send out a list of things that are more helpful to be prepped for hair and makeup. Like this is the most successful way to make this happen. So I'll
Hmm.
send that to my bride to send in her group chat or give to the girls. And just little tips. I'm trying to think what else for getting ready. really just making sure that everybody's in a chair when they need to be in a chair. And another thing to make it go smoothly is I like to align with the photographer if possible, because they either show up mid hair and makeup or they're showing up at this time and everyone needs to be ready at this time.
Yeah.
So, coordinating with the bride and the photographer of what are the expectations for hair and makeup to either be done or like just about done.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've heard from some photographers that are like, we like feels like we're starting off on like totally different schedules sometimes.
Mhm.
So it sounds like from your perspective, it's like, hey, right when they get there, we're checking in and just making sure everyone's like kind of on the same page for what's the rest of the morning going to look like.
Yes, yep.
Because it does fall a little bit on, hair and makeup shoulders to be done at a certain time. And
Yeah.
hopefully everyone has the same time.
Well, I was gonna say we get a bad rap because we're the first ones there, and then I know a lot of photographers say like hair and makeup runs late, but it's really hard to get like 8 girls in a chair at the same time.
Yeah.
But if they do stay on track, it really runs smoothly. And I do think finding out ahead of time the photographer schedule has really helped me.
Yeah.
Like, what does your photographer expect from me? And then we have to start. If we have to start an hour earlier because of that,
Yeah. We
that's
got
what
to
we
do
have
that.
to do. Because then the bride's day goes much better.
Yeah. I'm curious your take on the idea of brides and their girls getting ready on site, like at a venue, or if there's like a salon that they're thinking about, or if there's like someone's house that's like close by. Are there pros and cons to kind of either one of those options for like where do we do the getting ready part?
Pros of the venue are is that you're already there. If you can already be there, that's great because then you get dressed and the timeline keeps moving. For church weddings, I know that doesn't always happen. And if you're going to get ready at someone's house, I think the con is that typically houses aren't set up for that. So there's a lot more setting up of tables, chairs. At
Moving
a
furniture.
venue, typically, I feel like the more modern venues, and like most of them are getting with the program now, like
Yeah.
they have the chairs we need, they have like the lighting, they have the mirrors. So that's already in place. At someone's house, obviously, you have to bring all your stuff and get it set up. So you
Yeah.
just need a little more extra time for that.
Yeah, so it's not a bad option, but
No,
just understand that there's a few extra moving parts to
yes.
that
And
to that
it'll be
idea.
probably a little more crowded unless you have a house like this
Yeah.
and you have plenty of space.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. And the space upstairs and here
Oh,
is just
yeah.
so good. Um is there like a general schedule time frame that you're like, "Hey brides, if you're trying to figure out how to fit everyone in, this is really how much time we need for each person and kind of why?"
Yes. So it depends on how many services that they're going to have. And depending on how many services, say they need like 8 hair, 8 makeup, you know the amount of girls you need to bring and the amount of time they have. So some venues you're allowed to get in, you're already there, you slept over. And some you can't get in till 10 and you need to be done at 2. So in that situation, you need more artists to come to
Yeah.
fit that amount of services in. So usually the brides will already ask that though, like, "Hey, this is my time frame. What do we need to do to make that happen?" And I'll
Gotcha.
tell them these are the amount of people that need to be there for that.
Yeah. Is there anything that the girls can do before they sit down for their hair, before they sit down for their makeup that's like good? When they sit down, they're sitting down to get it done. They're not being told like, "Hey, go wash your face," or something like that.
Yes, so that's where my list comes in that I send them.
Yeah.
And I have on that list to have like your inspiration photos ready. So you already know, and to go to the bathroom beforehand, to have like your hair needs to be blow dried already, unless that's your service. But yes, that's kind of my list too. And I send that out so that they know to be in the chair on time. And then I always suggest, having your phone not be there so that you're not looking at it a lot. And then for the bride, she's always on the timeline. Again, depending on if the photographer is going to take photos of her or not getting ready, she's going to go second or third to last. so that she's done, and that when everyone starts coming in and asking her a million questions, she doesn't have to keep getting up from the chair.
Yeah.
And then she's the one that's, I'm like, I need my
Yeah.
bride back.
Yeah, because everyone else needs her to be ready to go
Yes,
at a
they
certain
need her.
time.
So
Yeah.
I try to get that out of the way and then just continue on with the rest of the party.
Yeah. I'm curious on the makeup side. Is there like a go-to product that you're like, I could not do a day without this one thing?
My NARS foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's so good about that foundation?
Um, it is long wear and it's full coverage. So for weddings, that's an all day situation. It stays where you need it to stay. It's just my go to for everything. Like, I feel like that's what makes a lot of the makeup I do like look so good, I guess.
Yeah. Is there something on the hair side of things that you're like, could not do as good of hair if I didn't have this like one product or thing?
Well, I personally have this little tool belt that I cannot function without. It's really bad. Um, but also there's a got to be glued hairspray. So even if you had to like use your hands to place the hair where you needed to place it, the hairspray is going to lock it in. So that hairspray too.
Yeah. Is there something that brides could be thinking about? Because I experience this a lot as a videographer because I ask from time to time for some sort of like emotionally driven piece. Like if they're doing first look with dad, and I'm like, hey dad, is there anything you want to say to your daughter in this moment before it kind of gets like, you know, a lot of hustle and bustle
Yep.
after the morning? And often there's like this hesitation to cry because it's like we don't want the streaks.
Yeah.
Is there like something that like you do that helps the streaks, or like is there something that brides could do to kind of like how do I feel the emotions and let the tears out and have them, but also like keep things looking nice after you just spent all that time putting it together?
Yeah, so I always say if you're gonna like really cry, sob, just lean over and let your tears go.
Let them
If
fall to
if
the
that's
ground.
not an option and there's just a tear, I actually use a setting spray, which maybe I should have said that was what I can't live without. I have a setting spray that I recently found out about that I've been using that is insane and locks everything in place. So nothing's moving. So if tears are running down, you would just kind of beauty sponge and like you're going to look the
You're
same
good
as
to
you
go.
looked. Yeah.
That's so funny. I'm like
So the
picturing like
spray.
the like water beating up on a car and like
Yes.
not
Yes.
to I'm not saying brides are cars. That's not what I'm saying. Don't take that. But I'm picturing like just the tears kind of like rolling off really easily.
Yes.
Cuz I want them to like feel the emotion of the day and
Yes.
not be afraid to cry or feel it. But there's also this part of them that I'm like, "Ah, but I don't want you to feel like you've ruined your makeup or something like has gone totally wrong with your makeup because you've like had that emotion."
And I think that's honestly the difference in the products you do use. It's hard to say all of them off the top of my head, but I think that's the difference between like everyday makeup and a bridal makeup artist because we're going to be using waterproof everything. Um, we're going to be using foundation, setting sprays, mascara. Everything is going to be as waterproof as it possibly can because brides cry.
Yeah. Or even if it's hot, like you're going to be sweating
You're
a
gonna be
little. Yeah.
sweating. It's like all of that. So I think using the higher end products specifically for long wear, I guess is the word.
Yeah.
Um, that makes a huge difference. But you're naturally normally nervous because your normal makeup would come off. But I, f- as long as you're using the right things, it's not going to be as bad as you think.
Yeah.
So they can cry.
I always feel bad because I ask for the emotional thing
Yeah.
and then everyone cries and I'm like, please don't hate me. But also that makes for such a good video.
Yeah.
If there is someone listening that's like, gosh, I love hair, I love makeup, I just don't know like what the path forward to like starting my own thing would be. Since you kind of like are in these like beginning stages of this next business, I thought this was just like the new thing, but you've like been doing it for so long. But like this specific one here in Pennsylvania, what would you say is like the first thing that they should try to do?
Uh, get education. Learn what is their like what's your style and educate yourself as much as you can on it and practice to make sure that like it is perfect and the people paying for it, they're going to get what they're paying for. I would also say starting out to take as many like styled shoots, we call them. Take that, do as many free models as you need to do. Again, I moved back here and I did models for a long time, even though I had like a good book already. It was like people here didn't know that. They don't know
Yeah,
anything. So I started taking free people again. I would do the makeup looks I want and I want to get booked for. So that's what I
that's
put out into
crucial.
the world.
Yep, that
Yeah.
is so important.
Yeah. So that's what I would say to do is find the style you like and start taking free face models.
Yeah. Yeah, because you do need a little bit of a portfolio in
Yes.
some regard to be
Yep.
like, this is the type of styles that I can do. I actually did that makeup. I'm not just saying like that's what I like to do, but I
Yes.
didn't do it.
Yep.
Um, is there anything that venue owners, if they're listening to this, could do to help like that getting ready spot to be easier to work in, more enjoyable to work in? Maybe something they could do when you get here that's like a nice, little personal touch.
The biggest thing I would say is lighting. So natural light. So windows are amazing. Um, or like a bigger open space. Also for hair and makeup artists, chairs are different. So like for makeup, we need like the taller chairs. Most of
Hmm.
us bring our own because of
Yeah.
you don't know that. So we
Yeah.
bring
The
our
last thing you need to do is be like leaning
exactly.
over.
So having those, but then for hair, you need a smaller chair. So like the variety of having those would be amazing. And then I would say that the timing, like some venues, which I totally understand, but the girls have to pay to get in earlier
Mm,
when it's not very realistic to have only 2 hours to do hair and makeup. So they're
yeah.
probably going to have to go somewhere else to do it first. Um,
Which, like you said before, there's pros and cons,
there is pros and
but it
cons.
is
Yep.
nice to just be here.
Yes, that or let them in early.
Yeah. Yeah. Come on, venue owners, just let them in early.
So the timing, but I totally get they have to make their money and I understand that. But that would be like in a dream world, we'd be able to get in as early as we wanted to get in
And then just have the biggest windows possible.
and have the biggest window.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like that window behind you is massive. Just
Oh
like
my god.
more of
This
those.
is amazing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um, are there trends that you're seeing now that you're just like totally in love with on either side, like hair and makeup?
Right now I'm loving I think the more like minimal, to be very specific, like the corner lashes, and like a super soft glossy lip, a blush cheek. That's like my favorite right now. And as far as hair goes, I am loving that more brides are wearing their hair down
Oh yeah.
and more like themselves, instead of feeling the pressure of like, this is a fancy day, so I need this fancy hairstyle that I would never wear otherwise.
Yeah, that's so fun.
Yeah.
I would imagine there's, I mean, endless possibilities of what you could do
Yeah.
with someone's hair. Um, do you have advice for like just general advice, not even like hair and makeup, but just advice for couples since you've been around so many different weddings? They're like deep in the planning stages. They're like feeling maybe a little lost, a little overwhelmed. Like, you just have like general advice for like couples in that stage.
I would say to do what you want to do. And as much as you can, like block out the noise of what people think you should do and like whatever your vision is to try to follow through like with that instead of what other people want you to do. Because
Yeah,
I know there's so much pressure and I
it's
hear that
hard.
a lot. And it
Yeah.
is very hard. Everybody wants, their to give their opinion, but to try to stay true to what it is that you wanted your day to be.
Yeah, I love that advice. I feel like there's a lot of voices, a
Hmm.
lot of opinions. But at the end of the day, you are marrying your best friend. And honestly, we all, as vendors, I'll just lump us all together. We want you guys to have the best day.
Yes.
And that's going to happen if you do the stuff that you want to do. And if there's really something that you don't have a preference on, then like, yeah, have people like speak into that. But really, we want you guys to have the best day. Are there other tools or habits or strategies that you have in your business that you feel like help kind of keep you running smoothly, help keep things like you're not missing communication and things like that?
I'm actually working on tightening that up a little bit, but I do use currently a program called Airtable, which
Okay.
has changed the game. With the amount of brides that I've had the last 2 years, I was like, I have to get this organized, and that is just a program that lets me have each bride has their own individual, like, I guess we call it page,
Yeah.
and everything on there is like from the pricing, the photos of their trial dates, names of girls, relationship to her,
Mm.
color they're going to wear, all of that, so that I can have like a bigger picture of just like the bride's name. So
Yeah.
that tool's helped me tremendously.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you're getting, even from that tool or just in general, like you're getting way more than just like the name and the style. Like you want maybe a little bit of that backstory or just like to hear a little bit
Yes.
more of like the personality.
Yeah, I like to know the group, and like I said, I like to see the dress. I like to know what um I'm just learning the vendors here now, getting to know everybody. So, like, you can tell by who they pick what kind of like wedding they want. So,
Yeah.
like, you can know what their vision is.
Yeah, no, it's so fun. Speaking of like working with other vendors, I'm curious, like for vendors that are listening, uh, what's your best advice for vendor to vendor having like that relationship work well on a wedding day? Like what could we be doing to just like have each other's backs better?
I think communicating with each other and just being respectful. Like, we all know that we each have an individual job, and there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen, and
Yeah.
so if we can all just know that, like, okay, this is what would be best for the day, and being patient with each other too, I think, because we all want to just do our best work. That's why we're there. So I think communication and appreciating each other.
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes a long way, and uh it's a funny visual of like just a ton of chefs all working in one
Yes.
spot. Like we're each doing our own thing, but it all like we turn around to the same table,
Yes.
put our dish out, and it's like that was a great wedding day.
That was amazing.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's so fun. Um, well, it's just been so great having you on the podcast and hearing more about your business and the things that are going on, and even just like your backstory of like I don't know, just like all of that experience kind of like surprised me because we were just talking about how your experience here in Pennsylvania is kind of just you're just kind of getting your feet
Yeah.
under you here, but you have a ton of experience behind that, in cool places like LA.
Yeah.
But where can people find and follow along with what you're doing?
Right now, I'm on Instagram a lot. That's Amanda Ryan Hair Makeup. And then I'm also on TikTok and Facebook, barely, but I'm working on it. And that is Amanda Ryan Hair as of right now. I'm trying
Okay,
to change everything over to Amanda Ryan Hair Makeup, but for
okay.
now, we're hair.
And what's the best place that people can be reaching out to like get in contact with you?
Instagram, Amanda Ryan Hair Makeup. I
Slide in the
answer, slide
DMs.
in the DMs. I answer the DMs. I'm on my phone. I'm going to answer any bride. And then my email is amandaryanhair@gmail.com.
Perfect. And we'll link all that down below so you can click on those links and reach out if you've enjoyed this conversation and you want to kind of see what the work looks like. Because then we talk about all the things and there's like no visual component. So I really, really hope that you guys are going and checking out Amanda's Instagram page and TikTok and all those other places too. But I'm curious, what do you have coming up that you're excited about?
This podcast coming out has been so cool.
Yeah, it's so fun.
I'm very excited. And I also have had an influx of clients that want me to teach a makeup class. So I'm going to
That's
try to
so
get that in
cool.
the works and get something put together for just the everyday client.
Yeah, because there's a ton that you probably know
Hmm.
that could make that process easier.
Yep.
Maybe some of the products that would be helpful.
Yeah, I think the products and a lot of the prep work, I think. You think just makeup, and I think a lot of what goes into it is like what you do before the makeup too.
Yeah, that'd be so fun. So maybe when this comes out, that's already going to be a thing.
Hopefully.
If it is, we'll link that stuff down below because it sounds like we got to get a little of the back end stuff going on that, which would be so fun. Well, Amanda, thank you for being on this episode of the Preferred List. I hope everyone watching and listening, you guys enjoyed our conversation. It's so fun to have all these conversations with different vendors and just get the backstory, the why behind everything that all the vendors are doing to kind of get everything put together to have the best wedding day for our couples. It's so fun. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, drop a comment. Let me know how you're liking the podcast. If you're listening, wherever you listen to podcasts, thank you. And I would appreciate if you guys could, leave us a review and just let us know how you've been enjoying the podcast. But that's all for this episode, and we'll catch you guys next time on the Preferred List.